I was going to ask you about special teams, and you talked about that a little yesterday, Saturday when we were walking by. Start with your kicker, place kicker, Andrew Gans. How is he?
Gans, we really haven't had a chance to kick him a whole lot. You know, he's done some individual stuff, and he actually came back the other day and was feeling pretty good. But you know, still a little bit of those things stuck in there, little scar tissue and things. So we're gonna progress him slowly through the spring here, and then by June he's got to be able to show us what he can do. Because you got to go test it, you know. But we don't want to rush it too much. But we know by June that we got to have an answer.
Okay, what about Josh Paisley?
Again, we're still evaluating, but he did a good job today.
Okay.
You know, I mean, made the shots when it counted and everybody's around. But you know, this next week here in the scrimmage, we'll put some heat on them and try to see what they're made of.
How important are special teams? And coaches always talk about that, but they haven't had a really good return game here for a few years, and a lot of them, they haven't really done anything well.
Well, I think if you look at them generally, we're always looking for other ways to win games. And I keep reiterating to these guys that there's 2 games out there in special teams alone. You know, we were 111th, I think, in the country last year in overall special teams, and that's probably why we were in the situation that they were in. You know, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but that's a big reason. To me, there's at least 2 games in there going from 111th to the top 20 in the country. You know, but it's got to be important, and it's not just something you got to use lip service to. You got to play your best players on it. You know, and you got to spend quality time doing it, and that's why, to me, I'm as much involved in it and is going to take over the special teams as I am offensively or defensively.
Do you see candidates maybe who could be dynamic return guys?
Well, we haven't had an opportunity to really give them the chance to return. Obviously, I would think that Mike Boone would be very good. Again, we're just now getting him back in the swing of things, and you know, we've got to wait and see. It's hard to live those guys up a whole lot here through the spring, but we'll give them an opportunity here. I think maybe one day, one of our scrimmages of some sorts to kind of turn them loose and see what they're made of. First, they got to be able to catch the ball. Second, they got to be able to secure it. And then we'll see what kind of ability they have to take it the distance.
Offensively, looked like finally started to find a little bit rhythm today. Was that as good as you've seen so far?
That's why you can never get too high and too low. You know, I mean, it's still a process, and it's still about building it, what we're doing, and that's what happens. Kind of, you know, someone comes out there a little bit live. This game is emotional, you know, and it's a game of you know, of emotion and adrenaline and those kinds of things and momentum. And you know, Saturday it didn't quite go that way, and you saw that kind of happen. And today, all of a sudden, you get some momentum. You know, you got a little bit different chip on your shoulder. But if you watch the film even from Saturday, they make 2 catches in the first, you know, drive or 2. It's a completely different scrimmage, you know, and it's just about the feel and the momentum that those guys got. But like I said, I think it's a process. I think you saw some quarterbacks step up, make some great throws. I think you saw some guys come down with some balls.
What offensively, what has to change from what you saw on their film last year? Obviously, they didn't run the ball well.
Well, to be honest, I did not study a whole lot of what it is that they did last year. I knew it wasn't something we were going to do. But in general, as you look statistically at a lot of things, that, you know, number one thing we got to be able to do is run the football. You know, we're a program based on offensive line and defensive line and toughness. And if you can't win up front in the trenches and move some people and have the ability to run the football, I think you're going to really struggle.
Is Boone healthy again, quote unquote?
He is. I mean, we're still holding back a little bit. We're monitoring his reps. I think Saturday was the first time we actually took the jersey off him and let him be tackled. So, you know, he's been chomping at the bit. He's one of those guys that you love to have because every day he wants more and more and more. But we're also being smart. That you know, we want to make sure we can manage him through spring, get him into camp, and then manage that thing so we can get ourselves in the season and basically put him at 100%.
We talk about quarterbacks a lot. Obviously, the most important position. Where do you stand there? Do you have a depth chart yet with that, or how?
Well, if you saw, I think they're rolling every 3 plays. So in a lot of those situations, we're still allowing those guys to roll every 3. I would hope, you know, I'd say by Saturday, at least we'll have that thing down to maybe we're two guys rolling and getting the majority of the reps, and still continue to battle them through the spring, and then we'll see at the end of spring. You know, I mean, obviously everybody wants to talk about it. It'll be something that we have a plan for, and then when we get the plan in place and we name that guy, then we'll be all behind him.
What's the importance of taking the practice over to Alden Saturday morning? What was your thought process?
Oh, it's twofold. I mean, yes, it's to get out in the community, make sure we're promoting ourselves in the community, making the community know that that's a big part of who we are and what we want to do, recruiting-wise. But also that we got 3 games in a row after the first game that we're on the road. So we want to put our guys in a bus and have them change their scenery a little bit and see how they travel, how they handle themselves. So it's not just 1, 2. It's kind of threefold for the entire program. So I guess it fits a lot of those bills, not just recruiting wise, not just making them travel wise, but also getting out in the community.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah, now the shooting at the Cameo nightclub that happened a couple days ago, what was kind of your reaction to that? Does that kind of garner any concern for the safety of your players?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing I did was get up, obviously, when I heard about it and reach out to the people, and they got a hold of the police department to find out if that is an area that our guys go to. Obviously, we'll have a communication and conversation about it. We talk about every weekend, about where we are and who we're with. And those are a lot of the things that's myself being new, that I got to find out and figure out the places, not just that our guys hang out, but also the places that are around the local area that we got to make sure we're aware of. So it's understanding our surroundings. That's on us as coaching staff to being new to figure all those things out. But we'll just continue to communicate with these guys about who they're with and where they're at.
Thank you.